Mission 3, Timber Log Delivery. Welcome to Chur Station. You're assigned to the 5417 Foxtrot early morning freight service, couple the wagons and then delivered to St Peter-Molinis. So hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome back to Dr. Game Train Squad 2 Arosalinie. Today, back in the 4/4 Mark II, another freight service today. Let's get ourselves ready to go. So we'll jump into the cab, we'll collect ourselves up to the timber loads available for us today, and then it's driving it as far as St Peter-Molinis today. So, fair little journey today. Clear skies, much clearer than it was earlier, and yeah, it should be rather good for us today. Right, set the reverse into the forward position. Set the vacuum brake to release. That's Lego brake, this one goes back. Train brake, released. And move up to Chur platform 2. Since we're travelling southbound today, we'll be travelling uphill for most parts. So I'll do all the braking on the rail driver, the main throttle control, driving control wheel. I'll be controlling off the keyboard today. What I'm also going to do is set up our lights. So light sets to number 2 position. It's also going to knock the wipers into action for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but well, it does what it does. There we go. Also, what I'm going to do is flick out the mirrors, hopefully. Compressor, main switch, pantograph. Somewhere here's a mirror switch. What I can do is move them out. There you go. Rear view mirrors on. So these will now move out into position. They don't actually work, so unfortunately you don't really get to see much apart from this, well, reflective sheets. But yeah, the mirrors do come out, the mirrors do pop out. It's a very nice little thing that as well. I'm also going to set the rear lights to reds. That means our front lights will now appear as white, and our rear lights will appear as red. And therefore, for any trains in our area, we should be able to do any tail lighting later on. Right, let's get going, shall we? It's currently early March, 6:30 in the morning here in Chur. Being a freight train, at the very least, we won't be doing any timetable scheduling today. We travel as required. We're not really confined to anything today, so at the very least, it means that if we travel a little bit slower than our scheduled service, well, it should take about 50 odd minutes to get to St Peter-Molinis. We can go a little bit slower if required. Let's prepare the train to stop now, so we'll cut all the power on the driving control wheel and apply the Lego brake. I think we have to do a bit of reversing there, because you know train squad's a bit exact with its positioning there. So reverse back to neutral, apply a tiny bit of power, just get us up in the right place. Like so. Perfect. Now, carpet formation. In reality, I'd be using the mirrors for this, but since the mirrors don't work, I'll travel at a very low speed. We'll quickly contact signal allows us to go. Travel at a very slow speed, and as soon as we feel a contact with the rest of the train, we'll then know that we've made contacts with the carriages. So we're changing points very shortly. There we go. Tiny amounts of power to get the train moving. What you will note is, with clear weather today, it means we'll be drawing power from the F-15 much easier than during a colder, icy day. Much clearer lines, contacts being made, so at least for me driving today, life is a lot easier. If it's cold, icy and wet, then the power doesn't really get drawn from the overhead because the ice adds a thin layer, which causes the train to basically, well, causes the line to freeze, creates a gap between the contact shoe on the pantograph, there we go, and the actual cable itself. I think we moved a bit too far away there as we have, so quickly drive the train back just a tiny bit more again. So that goes there, that goes there. And then do that. go, much better. Couple it all together. That's the train ready to go. Perfect. We are... is that an O and S? Clusters today. We are clusters. Unit number 615. Jump back in, close the door, reverse it back to forward, release all the brakes. Whoops. Got the power there. Whoa! Gee, what about that acceleration though? Let's put a bit of braking in, just slow train down. Gosh. We just, well, that in the trade is called rubber banding. Basically, what we've done is we've glitched the physics there to the point that we've kind of sprung off of it. We've, like a rubber band, we ping off of a thing when you stretch it. We've just pinged off the rear carriages there. Did not think we'd be able to do that. Fair enough. Well, that's purely unintentional, but the way the physics kind of connected to the carriages there obviously didn't like something. So try not to do that again, if possible. Now, I was going to do the 2 toots of the whistle, just to let people around so that we are in motion, but I didn't really get a chance to do that because the train just went on its own little poof there. Well, these are in one piece. Next station, or at least next stop, St Peter-Molinis. So again, there's no real time for us to get there. It's just on our own accord. Whenever we get there, is whenever we get there. Travelling uphill means that we're going to put a little bit of power in as the train goes ahead. Currently, drive control number 2 in position, so you can see the positions on the wheel there. 0 to 2 kind of is, well, nothing really. Minute power. 2 to 6, that's kind of your standard acceleration. 6 to 10, that's for high speed. And just a few more toots on the whistle to let any cars around the corner that we are coming through. At the end of the day, all comes down to safety, especially in regards to driving on the road. Well, essentially a tramway. And we'll run it as a tramway until we actually leave the town itself. So again, a few cars parked to the right hand side there. Going to pass through the Altstadt station momentarily. And as always, the scenery out here, absolutely fantastic. I've not really seen the uniform drivers yet. We had a live stream originally a while ago. But the uniform not here. Yeah, it's just standard hoodie that. Definitely company colours, but you can see the red down by the sides. But apart from that, it's nothing more than just black hoodie on this occasion. Not too different from actually what I wear myself. Although I wear more of a jacket rather than a hoodie like that. But at some point I will get a thin jacket, which looks pretty much the same. Right, so slowly leaving the city now. We should be able to increase our speed. Well, now basically. It's 25. And as soon as you split away from the main road, up to 30, where it kind of bobs around between 30 and 33. There, little siding out to the sands depot. I'm trying to think. I mean, Chur itself isn't super far away from. I think it's from Geneva. It's not too far away from. So, at least getting there from the UK, it's not the most difficult in the world. It's definitely a railway line I'd love to visit one day, if I ever go. I've recorded a few videos as well for the channel. I know trains and train sims not the biggest thing on the channel. I mean, me myself personally, I probably do prefer trains over planes, but I enjoy both regardless. I do enjoy both, but I'd say I'm more of a train person than a plane person. So I'd love to visit one day, love to do a few videos, kind of showcase the line of real life, with a comparison between real life and sim. But there's so much to do, or so much you can do, these kind of railway lines, that they're worth doing. A little while ago I did a mini series on the Finnish railway network, so I did the Helsinki metro, did a few intercity VR trains, did a few tram lines out in Helsinki as well. Showcase a few of those, so definitely a few possibilities in that. I'll say, even though it's an early morning run, it's still getting darker and darker, presumably though, because of the high-rise hills and mountains around us. So that's getting blocked out by the, by the high-rises. See the streetlights in action, very good indeed. It's definitely a very relaxing morning run, this. Touch wood, absolutely nothing that can go wrong for us. Right, so we're now leaving the roads. The road sits to the right hand side of the lake, so the river, we've on the left. Now speed increases to 33, a little bit more speed up, a bit more throttle in. And let's get going, shall we? And you can definitely tell, the more I've driven this route, the more I've kind of gotten used to all the throttle inputs and brake inputs. Train's definitely running a lot more smoother than it was even in my first couple of videos on this. 2 more to go. Who knows how things may change for us? Probably for the worse, knowing me. Comes to the final scenario, which I think is like a 90-minute long tourist excursion, so kind of extra stops in different places we don't normally go to. Those will be a bit of a challenge for sure. Ah, forgot about tunnels. Yeah, it's going to be like a little bit of a scenic, or it's like a panoramic shot. Let's do a panoramic shot, like a prop one from long distance. We find ourselves a nice spot to like, so a little gap in trees as well. This is nice. I mean, this is very nice. Don't get me wrong. A few more trees, of course, would be very good. Little hard stop there, but it's any bad looking routes, not by any means. About 2 kilometers to go now to the Unslax crossing point. Presumably, as it's marked on the map, there may be a train service running towards Chur that we need to be aware of and therefore either wait for or pass around. After that, next crossing point will be around Luen Castiel. And after that, into St Peter-Molinis, where then presumably detach the train and then run around and move elsewhere. We're going to film out memorable rail trips myself, I mean, I'm someone who travels by train a lot. Not so much within the UK, funnily enough. I travel more on train in other countries. But, yeah, there are so many trips out there which are worth taking. So, one I know doesn't exist anymore is the Puttgarten ferry train. So, you go from Copenhagen, capital of Denmark, to Hamburg, North Germany. What you used to be able to do is take a train from Copenhagen to Puttgarten. Or there was a town, I can't remember if Puttgarten's on north or south side of that, so if that was on the German or Danish side. Essentially, the train drives up to the port, and then, like a car or lorry driven to a ferry, the boat would line up with the railway tracks, and the train would then drive from the station onto the boat. So you're trapped in a train, but the train goes into a boat. Once the train station, you can then deboard the train, head upstairs and do whatever you do on the boats, and then just before we arrive at the harbour on the other side, we then jump back into the train, and then train, like before, drives off the boat, and then carries on the journey down to Hamburg. So, sadly, nothing you can do anymore. The train now goes via a more of a diversion longer routes towards the west of where it used to go, and soon a tunnel will be built in the former ferry's location. But essentially, and I think there used to be quite a few of those, like train ferries. They're not so common anymore. There may be like one or two left in Europe. Don't know about elsewhere though. Yeah, that was a very, very good trip. Went to Hamburg, spent a few hours in Minnesota Wonderland, the giant miniature railway. A couple of years ago, good 5-10 years ago now, went on train. Well, wasn't that even? A train from, I think it was Rzeszów in Poland to Katowice. That was in the old EP09. That was a cross-country intercity Polish service. That was a very good one. Very old, rustic Russian passenger cars. I'm trying to think, what else have I done that's kind of in that region of memorable? Because again, there's, to be fair, any train trips worth doing in any foreign country. I'm trying to think of a good example. There's one more as well, but I don't quite know where it was. Well, yeah, of course I don't know then. That's what's annoying me. Stockholm, that's it, Stockholm. Driving from Nyköping to Stockholm. As you enter the, it's about 30-40 minutes away from Stockholm itself, you're up some really, really high mountainside. Like, hang on, I'll speed there, getting a bit fast. Yeah, I'll train that. You're at this really high mountainside looking over a harbour. Really, really high bridge. I don't quite know exactly where it is. Need to look at them on the map one day. But it's the most amazing thing in the world. Being able to kind of look down at the, well, the entire valley down below. It's beautiful. Stockholm's something I'd like to go back to again at one day in the future. Stockholm was the very first kind of weekend trip I did. And so, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I was very cautious about other things like timing, where I was going, because I don't quite know where I can really share my time to see what I need to do in those couple of days. So Stockholm again, go back to more relaxed. And when things start to return to normal, it's something I recommend people to do. So if you like weekend off or a couple of days midweek off, book a trip. Look at cheap airlines like Ryanair, EasyJet, Wizz Air. Whoever sells tickets cheap. Book even a one-night trip. So you leave on a Saturday, come back on Sunday. First plane out on Saturday, last plane on Sunday. That gives you 2 full days in wherever you can go. Book a cheap hotel, even a hostel. Get yourself just a bed. If you're in another place for a new weekend, you're not going to spend too much time asleep. And yeah, just spend that time and see the world, really. Hopefully in July, I've got a trip down to the Channel Islands to see. But I've not. I'm holding that one off at the moment. Kind of want to see how things change, really. Worst case scenario, I go to Scotland instead. Scotland in July, usually pretty sunny, so that's always worth a trip. Up to the Cairngorms. Again, we'll doing where I did my gliding flights. If you remember that video, even more of a vlog, that one. Like I said, there's so many places worth visiting in the world. If you had any chance to go anywhere, take it. Absolutely take it. So we're a kilometre and a half away from Lou and Castiel now. Doing pretty good timing at the moment. Yeah, doing alright for timing. There's no time to be made. Yeah, we should be alright for the rest of the scenario. In terms of train control, not too bad at the moment. Relatively stable, 6-degree uphill incline. Only carrying 2 loads of logs at the moment, so it's not really carrying too much heavy weight at the moment. And therefore, operation is smooth. If carrying the passenger sites as well with it, then that probably would have added a bit more weight to it, and therefore a lot more adjustments to be made. But for the most part, the train itself is maintaining power pretty much perfect at the moment. There's 0 input I'm having to do, which is more than good, I guess. It means that me as a driver, I'm doing less. Apart from, well, I guess enjoying the scenery, really. Window down, look outside. This entire valley to enjoy. The world's a beautiful place. So I've made it kind of my mission to explore what I can. On as little penny as possible. Kind of what Noel Phillips does actually, but Noel Phillips takes it way too extreme. I do enjoy Sam Chewy, but for me he's almost at the top tier extravagant level I can't quite reach. But Noel Phillips, his vlogs and travel videos, they're more of where I kind of sit. Like, how far can you go for the cheapest ticket in a day? So you flew from London Stansted to, I think it was Nepal, was it? Flew to Kathmandu in 24 hours for like 70 quid, which was amazing. So yeah, that kind of stuff I do very, very enjoy. Very much enjoy. So we're just approaching Lou and Castiel now. Keep an eye out for the inbound train, presumably we're at the station. All green signals will clear for us at the moment. Ah, okay. Next signal is appearing as red, top right corner of the UI there. I'm expecting the little light panel on the sensor to now start flashing red for me. Yes, it does. Hopefully it does. Cut the power up. Right, apply some braking then. Bring our train to a halt. So the inbound train has not yet arrived, and therefore we're going to have to wait a bit longer for it to reach us. Right to the end of the red light, so where that kind of stop marker is there. There we go. Hold position here, check the map, the inbound train, probably not too far away. There you go, just inside the tunnel now. As soon as they pass, we'll then go around clearance to go. What I could do if I really wanted to is I could press the phone if this platform has one. I don't think it does actually, so we won't do that. There's the mountain train now. Wait for it to clear. Brakes release. Forward. So stopping at St Peter-Molinis on platform 2. Okay, so stop at platform 2, uncouple from the train, and then looks like we're going to then form a runaround. So either we put into a siding or we put into the platform 1, and that's where our scenario will end. So we do perform a runaround, we're not going to just leave train all attached when we get to our destination. The next was in 3 kilometres, stop at 2 kilometres, so for the most part, so we've got clear track the rest of the way there. And given that we had to stop the train at Leon Castiel, that for me also indicates that we're actually doing pretty good timing as well, because we're ahead of the passenger train behind us. Of course, passenger service gets priority, and therefore we allow them to pass first before we go through. That also single track, don't have 2 trains on single track at the same time. So we're doing good for timing at the moment. It means that we're well ahead of schedule, and will not cause any problems later down the line. Because as you know, one delay in any service can essentially bottleneck a system. One delay will cause delays for the rest of the day, especially on a single track network like this. Catching up will be very difficult indeed. If you're reliant on a single line, if that line becomes blocked, then you've got yourself a big problem. Couple of moments, we'll form a sharp right hand turn. That then takes us away from St Peter-Molinis for a short period, not for too long. Potentially our train kind of spins away from destination, our 2.1 kilometers start to increase slightly, and then count down again as we make a right turn. Sorry, make a right turn and left hand turn back towards the direction of travel. And that is essentially just a feature of the rock line here at Arosa. If you have a look at a map of the line, kind of interlace it over a map of the... or interlane the rail map alongside a contours map. And essentially, the rail line map will form an outline of the mountains here in this part of the Alps, so you'll actually see how it all kind of twists around each other and bends around each other, because the mountain, or the drain line, is very limited to where the mountains are kind of flats. So if you ever have the contour map, kind of match them together and see where it fits. So we're going to level track now. I think the power's kind of more... oh no, the more I drive this train, the more I kind of think about how the wheel power thing works. So as you twist the wheel, it's not so much power being generated for certain speeds. Each setting is set to a particular speed for train to travel at. So right now we're in position 3.3. 3.3 seems to be 33. 3 is 30, 3.5, 35. So actually, the different inputs in the wheel determine the speed of the train. It's like a cruise control. So that's 30, that's 25, that's 20, 15, 10, 5, and 0. So the reason that there's no power being drawn into the train right now is if I drop down to 5, now power's been drawn. Now we'll keep the train cruising at 5 kilometers per hour. So speed increases to 35, instead of the control wheel, 35. And that's the precision you get in a control wheel. No matter how you set it, or depending on how you set it, it's more accurate because you set it to every individual kilometers per hour, depending on your train's operation. before I was kind of twisting the wheel and hoping for power to be drawn in and out of the line because, well, that's what I was expecting. In reality, this is closer to an AFB system on a German network than it is to a standard throttle master controller on any other train. The only way that's different is with the brakes, or the bremsen, as that's adding resistance to the motors and therefore limiting your wheel speed as you go downhill. That you need to adjust because that is different depending on the weight load and the incline of the mountain. But going uphill, you set the speed, and the speed presumably then all managed with the engine back here. So something back here is going to have an idea of what our speed is set to on the wheel and the power being generated which it needs to apply for the train's operation. Oh, you can just straight height as well. Who knew? It's way too high. Somebody fit that to the 465 train as well, please. I noticed it's much lower. Oh, that's a very, very smart system. One that I kind of learn more the more I drive this train. Just under a half kilometre to go now. Got the power back to 20. Very shortly, we'll be prepared to stop the train. And yeah, as always, the sunrise in any scene. Very, very beautiful. Right, so okay, that's our ZS there singling. That's telling me that we're going to bring this train to a halt now. Acknowledge that. Down to 15. Down to 10. And it will cut the power entirely now. We'll start using the vacuum brakes. Perfect. Let's uncle ourselves from the carriages now. Try to rubber band off them again. Right, so location is St Peter-Molinis south, so signal's green, we have clearance to depart. Brakes released, sound the whistle. How's it going, shall we? Like before, even with the carriage now detached, the train will still be able to coast 30 depending on the power of input. There you go. Leave it around 20. Down to 10. Stopping just by that signal repeater there. Or just beyond it even, because that's showing signals for that side, which we need to be able to monitor for our re-entry back in to St Peter-Molinis. Cut the power. Signal brakes on. Stop location to be Peter-Molinis north. Now, what I'm going to do is change cab ends, if that's possible. Hopefully it's possible. So train into neutral, control wheel off, brakes set to full, master key off. Vi also cuts the mirrors, cuts the rear lights and the main lights. Down from the cab, head to the side, and then run from the front back to the stop location. Master key on, train forward, lights 3, rear lights set, mirrors out. Looks good. Release brakes. Contact signaller if required. Proceed as signals indicates. Red. Okay, fair enough. And there we go. Proceed at restricted speed. So right now, as we're going downhill, we're no longer using the cruise control option, but are braking as required. Perfect. By tying out power, just get train up to speed again. Stopping at speed some miles north. Couple to formation as, yeah, we perform the run around, couple to the train. And what's going to happen is we're going to put into this siding just here. So we'll clear the main line and we'll train over to the side. There's the signal to our left. Like before, that's where we're going to base our stop location. On terms of signal visibility. Right, so we'll hit the brakes again. We'll switch back to the other cab one last time. So, mirrors back in again, lights off, lights off. Master key on, reverser forward, lights on, mirrors out, lights on, wipers in of course, needs to do their thing. Right. Brakes, time animation forward just to jump train to the signals in front of us, and then contact signaller. So proceed at restricted speed, signaller sets to cross. Let's go recouple to our train. Acknowledge that. Up to 25 kilometers per hour. So slowing train down. Make a very gentle amount of contacts. Perfect. Brake set. Jump out. Connects it all up. Jump back in again. Whoops. Right, close that, close that. Set the main junction to the right, so actually go back out again, sorry. Set the junction to the side. And then jump back into the cab to get trained into the siding again. So this out here needs to go. Junction sets. Track to the right. Let's get going. So travelling back to St Peter-Molinis north, which was the signal we just stopped at moments ago. And this time I'll do it in reverse, for the sake of, well, simplicity from this cab. So reverse up, set to reverse, release all the brakes, apply a tiny amount of power to get the train moving. We'll reset our lights, so our tail lights now shine as white. Our headlights, 0. Our warning lights set to 2. Brakes are released, so what's brakes, fair enough. So now our formation should show, well, red lights and lights in front, and the rear. No white lights either, fair enough. So not quite what I was expecting. That should show white. Shows red. No, it won't. My guess, and to do with the fact that we've coupled up to well, our consist. We've got an out for it, so fair enough. We are alone in the signal block here, so there's 0 chance of another train entering this. And if we are free to move around, as again required within our little signal block location. Right, so that'll do. Train comes to a halt. Ever so slowly comes to a halt. There we go. Reverse forward, signal green, brakes released. Apply the power to about 20. Fortunately, as logs are quite low loaded, you get quite a fair bit of visibility outside the cab anyway. That, only 2 cars in front of us too. There's no dead man switch or DSD I don't think either, so we are pretty good in regards to standing up operation. Yeah, there's no foot pedal, just the ZS we need to acknowledge from time to time. Stand with the brakes. Preferably stop for the red. Ah, okay. Fair enough, that'll do. Hit the buffer instead. Fortunately, we're slow enough. No damage there. Well, I'm fairly sure this is a wooden buffer rather than hydraulic, so. Oh no, we did alright there. Fair enough. I thought we were going to cause a bit of damage there to the buffer, but fortunately, get out of there without a scratch. Jump back in. Stop location to north again, so back in reverse, back in reverse. Put a little bit more speed on it. Like before, going as far as the signals behind us. Right, cut the power, now running on the brakes. Now running backwards downhill, I can imagine is breaking every single rule within the company rule books. But hey, it's a simulator. What can I do about it? Right, we have our location at Peist platform 2. Where are we going to then? We're going as far as Drawyah? Yes we are, fair enough. Indication up all the way. So we'll set the control wheel to the number, well, that looks to be about 35, so we'll put that into the 3.5 position. And then from there, it's about a 5 or so minute journey to Peist, so it's not a particularly long journey. Oh sorry, to Drawyah, that's been more like a 10-15 minute journey, so actually got a fair bit of travelling to go then. At the very least, running without wagons, we'll be running on our own. Good acceleration, good braking. There's still a fair bit of a journey left for us ahead. Drop down to 30. There you go, power catches up. Now that I know how train works, I'm quite happy to say it's a very intuitive way of driving train. So before I was going to set the wheel to maybe 4, 5, 6, hoping, waiting for power to join straight away. In reality, if the train speed wasn't set where it needs to be, it won't draw power because it doesn't need to accelerate. So actually, no, the train itself does know what it's doing. Up to 33. Taillights position now. Headlights stay active? The answer is no. Let's change that, shall we? Ah, hang on. That's going to be linked to this now. So, warning lights come off. Now there'll be white lights. There we go, perfect. So, what I can do is I can set the warning lights to position 1. That sets the upper lights to red, low lights is white. And then number 2 makes both lights red. Back into the 0 position, makes both of them white. Sometimes the wiper needs a little bit of a jump there to remind me what it's doing. I'm not quite sure how this is kind of linked up to the rail driver, because the 4-stroke Ford's the loco. This was quite late in receiving rail driver support in that it actually came after release rather than before. Rivet Games still working their rail driver support stuff, so while for the most part I've got no problem with it, apart from maybe the throttle positioning needs adjusting and the wipers. You can definitely tell there are small things that they are still adjusting to get to their perfect level later on. And there's a train station there. I presume they've been there for a little while now, because we are a little behind schedule. Not by too much, but we are a little behind schedule. And yeah, being a freight, they're stationary. definitely caused that delay for them, so I do apologise. Hopefully though when we get to the end, it won't cause too many problems. Stop lang device, and that is our final thing. Task. I must say though, it's obviously a very, very relaxing route to drive on as driving in real life. Driving your narrow gauge train, solo in the cab, pristine views to your outside, especially in the winter when it starts to snow. So it's be a very good bit to work for. Satisfaction up there, it's one of the highest. But then again, if you live up in the Swiss Alps, I mean, stuff like this will be normal to you. You see it from the day you're born. It won't have quite the same effects. Like, people come to London to look at all the sites, like the skyscrapers, your old historic buildings. For me as a Londoner, that's just all stuff I see every day. And so, I can imagine that people who live here don't quite have the same effects for the scenery. But hey, what can you say? It is beautiful. So we're just under 2 kilometers to go now. Got one more tunnel we need to navigate through. And after that, home stretch to our destination. I'll say it's a very big, peculiar looking loco as well. Having the cab door only on one side does, oops, in tunnel now. Having the cab door only on one side, it's a very, I don't know. For me, stylistically, it's not a bad looking loco. It ain't the prettiest. It's functional, but not pretty. Yeah, so before, what I was doing is I was kind of fighting the power wheel, hoping the train to reach certain speeds. Now I can leave it. This is much easier. 1 kilometer to go. And then the outskirts of town. If we're passing through there, there's the bridge, just over there. So that bridge takes us over to the right hand side of the valley. That crosses us from Langweiss towards Litzruti. And that is the one time we cross over from the north side of the mountains down to the south side of the valley. I can imagine originally when the runway was built in the 1800s, it was a mammoth task to do. I, for one, would not have wanted to work on this line, that's for sure. But the end results, one of the prettiest railways I've definitely ever seen in real life. Well, in images of real life. Not yet quite my own eyes. The with my own eyes bit, that I'm sure comes in later dates. Right, put the power back into about 25 now. Still half kilometers to go, so not quite ready to slow down just yet. But you see now, trains are drawing power. There is a delay for sure, regardless of the weather. Not quite to an extremity as before, but there is definitely a bit of a delay in that. Here we go, so the main road now is on our right hand side. The town itself, Langweiss, just around the corner. There's the bridge. We'll be stopping before that bridge. Stopping right about here. Got the power down to 5. Slow start to apply the brakes before the end of the line. Although preferably past the crossing. Perfect. Thank you for completing this run. Let's see how you performed. I must say, that was definitely a few parts to that. Switching around, loading, unloading the logs. Definitely a few things for us to do there. So, we scored a gold medal. I'll take that gold medal. Looking at our control, at least our speed management throughout, definitely a lot smoother than it was before. Very, very happy with that, that's for sure. Some locations, 3 metres at St Peter-Molinis, 2 metres siding, 24 north, fair enough, and then almost on the spot there at Langweiss. Safe 5 on the profile, level 7 on both the train and the route, very good. Took us 57 minutes, 21 kilometres driven, with 7,768 awareness points earned. So, overall, a very good run that. Very, very happy with that. No major operational errors. Still no idea what that acceleration was at the start there. But hey, bit of rubber banding. What can you do about it? So, yeah, that brings us to the end of that. Tomorrow, we'll be back with Unloaded Wagons Wonderland, so that'll be a pretty good one. A bit more blizzard, a bit more storm for us to worry about, so that'll be a lot of fun. Otherwise, yeah, thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, have a good one, and goodbye.